Here we have the CPU cooler for the Hackintosh build. This is the Corsair A50. It's sort of a low range one. Again, this was sort of driven by price. This was a great deal at the time. It's compatible with pretty well everything. Older Intel, current Intel, AM2 and AM3 series from AMD as well. For the reviews on this are fairly good, so even for a fairly low cost fan, let's take a look at it. Here we have the fan itself, it looks like. I mean the cooler, I should say, the heat sink. And there's a box, so let's take a look at the box first, see what's in there. Okay, so that has the fan. So that's a 120 millimeter fan, so it's fairly hefty. This particular model has a single fan. The next one up, the A70, has dual fans and a slightly bigger heatsink. But there you go. So it comes with that. And here's a bunch of adapters for the various CPU sockets. It is compatible with AMD and Intel sockets. Here's the one for Intel, and you slide that back and forth depending on what size it is. Also comes with some thermal compound, which is critical. You got to make sure you have thermal compound between the CPU and the heatsink. Screws, and it comes with this, let's take that out. It comes with this resistor connector, so it actually runs at a constant speed. I think it's 2000 RPM. If you put this in line, it actually slows it down. So if you want to reduce noise, fan noise in the chassis, you can do that with this resistor connector. So let's have a look at the heatsink itself. It's a fairly hefty unit by the looks of it. I believe it's about 160 millimeters this way and 120 that way. So you need a fairly big case. I'll show the case later that we have for the Hackintosh, but it's pretty big, so it should be no problem with clearance. But this typically, from what I've read, people do have clearance issues, mainly because I think there's just a little bit extra headroom because of the copper piping there. So you can see it's a pretty standard looking air type CPU heatsink. And again, this clips onto there and gives you, and you can choose the orientation depending on, clearance for RAM and things like that. We have fairly low profile RAM, so I don't expect any issues there. But if that is an issue with some of the high profile RAM, you have to be sure of that, and you can switch the orientation of that. Anyway, that's the Corsair A50. That'll be the heatsink CPU fan for the Hackintosh build.